Just to set the context in terms of the history of Lakshmi Vilas Bank, as you mentioned, their asset quality deteriorated. So their gross NPA was around 10% in 2018, and it has now fallen to 25% in 2020. It's a fairly big branch with bank with over 500 branches. The problem started, for Lakshmi Vilas Bank when they shifted their focus from SME lending to large businesses. So they loaned out around 720 crores to the promoters of Ranbaxy and Fortis. And what happened was in 2018, Religare Finvest, which is an arm of Religare Enterprises, sued a Delhi branch to recover fixed deposits worth about 800 crores that the bank had invoked to recover loans from the promoters. After which, the bank was placed under the prompt corrective action program of the RBI. So that's when Lakshmi Vilas Bank started to look for new investors, mergers, and so on. Their first attempt was to merge with India Bulls Housing Finance, which RBI disapproved because it probably didn't want to be seen as an NBFC acquiring a bank. Uh, Subsequently, there was an attempt even made with Clicks Capital. Clicks Capital had uh, put in a proposal early in October, and in mid-November, because it was taking a lot of time and no decision was made, they even threatened to pull out. But then almost suddenly, you could say, there was a moratorium imposed which restricted customers from withdrawing money, and then DBS became like the main suitor for Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Uh, so it's very interesting because a foreign bank, a subsidiary of a foreign bank, has been asked to take over an Indian bank. So I think there are a few things that come out of it, few messages. One is that I think RBI is clearly looking at foreign banks to set up subsidiaries and might actually give them the option to take up failed banks in case they set up subsidiaries versus those foreign banks who seek a branch license and they want to operate the India business as a branch. This, I think, comes from the 2008 crisis where there were some fears that cities India business was at risk because of some of the bets placed by Citibank in US in terms of mortgage-backed securities and so on. So probably RBI looks at this as a way to safeguard the Indian banking system and economy. The other interesting thing, both with Lakshmi Vilas Bank and earlier Yes Bank deal, is that the existing shareholders have been kind of wiped out. So it's not a conventional mergers in that sense. So overall, denying India Bulls a chance. So I think that's a clear message that to NBFCs that banking license, through acquisition may not come easy. Although there's been a recent development where there's been a
Yeah.
recommendation made to allow some of the larger NBFCs who have been in operation for 10 years or more to take up, to give them a banking license. Yeah, so that's to be informed. So they don't expect that this will happen smoothly. They expect legal challenges, but the framework is there in place to deal with it. So it may not, the entire merger may not happen as smoothly as some people think. It might take a little bit more time.
All right, that was very comprehensive. Ashish, what is the broader significance of this? Maybe we should do a podcast on banking itself, right? There's plenty of content to discuss.
No, absolutely. In fact, beyond this situation, which by the way RBI handled quite well, the moratorium was placed for about a month, and it took only about 30 minutes for them to announce that DBS was going to acquire Lakshmi Vilas Bank. So tough Diwali for some negotiators in RBI and the two banks, but I guess they basically made sure that there was no PMC bank type situation here. But more importantly and more significantly, there was a recommendation by a RBI internal working group which has proposed a complete overhaul of the banking system. We need to have a greater financialization in India, where people, Indian citizens hold more financial assets rather than physical assets. And for that, the banking system has to permeate and penetrate deep inside the country, which of course has not happened, despite all that being one of the objectives of nationalization in 1969. And this RBI working group has proposed that they would they would essentially amend the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, which gives RBI the power to license banks, to have regulation and control over the shareholding, voting rights, appointment of directors and management boards, all of that. And they would then allow large corporate houses to get banking licenses. They've also said that large NBFCs can become banks, and payment banks can become small finance banks. So fairly broad recommendations. In fact, this would be the biggest banking reform if it gets there. I mean, this is just an RBI internal working group. It has to be approved by RBI itself, and then of course by the government. And if this happens, it would be like a complete overhaul. Remains to be seen what we do with the foreign banks in that case. But also, given that we are now consolidating PSBs and potentially have only 4 large banks in another 5-6 years or maybe 10 years, these regulations will help the M&A activity. So once the government has created a significant mass on having, let's say, 4 or 5 large banks and perhaps a few small banks which may not get merged, they can later be sold off to the private players who might come in through this route.